thumbnails are some of the most recognizable parts of BFDI episodes. The background playing right now is TPOT 9. Just off the top of your head, you can probably remember what the thumbnail looks like. As you can see, the thumbnail does what it should: summarize the main plot without giving away too much information while pulling in the viewer. Episodes like TPOT 13, TPOT 19, BFDIA-17, BFB 18, and some others are great examples of this. Thumbnails we know today could have been vastly different though. This video, I'll be going over every unused BFDI thumbnail, and rating them. Starting in chronological order, we have BFB 2. The thumbnail includes Woody and Nickel, as opposed to Woody and Taco, with the jawbreaker missing as well. Besides that, the thumbnail is pretty much the same. There are also some smaller differences, like the higher contrast on the used thumbnail, and the text being misaligned on the unused one. As for my ratings, I'll start with the unused one. While I prefer the normal colored assets more, that's about it. The thumbnail doesn't give much insight into the episode, the text is misaligned, and the poses just look like they were ripped out of the episode. The used one is much better in my opinion. Taco and the jawbreaker are much more relevant than Nickel, so it already does a better job. It looks more full, as well, with less empty blue space. Next on our list is BFB 3. Here is the current thumbnail and here is the unused one. Once again, I'll be starting with the differences. The used one has a pink background with thick white stripes, while the unused one has a green background with thinner stripes. A couple of other changes are the color of the swing, and the contestants on the thumbnail. Although I do like the style of the unused one more, the blur just makes it look lazy, and the poses once again aren't unique enough. The neon pink on the used one just really throws me off however, and deciding between the two is tough. I like pretty much everything about the unused one, but it just doesn't look abstract enough to stand out as a thumbnail, if you know what I mean. I'll give this one to the used one once again. Heading 3 episodes later, our next unused thumbnail appears in BFB 6. The only difference between the two is one having stapy, and the other having gelatin. Though it's hard to pick with only one difference, I'll go with the used one for 2 reasons. Gelatin does play a somewhat major role in the episode, but already appeared in the last episode's thumbnail, BFB 5. The red also contrasts much better with the rest of the thumbnail in my opinion. So for the 3rd time, the used one takes the win. Finishing off with pre-split, we have BFB 16, one of the most important episodes in the series. The 2 thumbnails have a very different style, each with their own pros and cons. The used one is better by far though. The focus on pencil and the jawbreaker is a much better scene, and the detailed shading gives that something special feeling that the episode is all about. A cool detail I noticed with the thumbnail is the splitting banner, which foreshadows the eventual splitting of the show. Everything about this thumbnail is great, and the unused one just can't live up to it. Pencil and Match have the exact same pose and loser is limbless. They tried to go with a kind of simplistic style, but backtracked on that by using the exit as the background. The shadows blending in with the banner is just weird too. The next episode, BFB 17, also had an unused thumbnail. A key detail here is that this is where they stopped using banners. This wasn't always originally going to be the case, as the unused version did have a banner included. I honestly think this change was for the better. The banner was just unnecessary, and the removal of it allowed for a cleaner thumbnail. The background on the unused one is much less detailed, and the hand is in a really awkward position. The outline is also way too thick, and the thumbnail is overall unpolished. The current one isn't perfect, but takes the cake over the unused one, continuing the unbeaten streak. BFB 24 is the next episode on this list, and actually had 2 unused thumbnails. Here's a quick reference of the used thumbnail, and the unused ones. The worst out of the 3 is definitely this one. There's way too much going on with too many bright colors clashing. The zoom in is also awkward, along with the size of the Ferris wheel compared to Fiery. The second unused one does well with fixing the former's cons, but doesn't do well enough to compete with the used one. The unused one is great, but the used one's background does a better job of representing Woody's actions that episode. The choice is closer than BFB 3's, and the used one barely wins. BFB27 returns to one unused thumbnail, but definitely has the biggest blowout on this list. The used thumbnail is infamously bad, leaving the unused one with little to compete against. The entire thumbnail is composed of reused assets, with a weird green area on the side. Not only does the unused one blow it out of the water, but is probably one of the best BFB thumbnails. There's no real reason as to why it wasn't used either. The only reason you could come up with could be that it wasn't the main focus of the video, but I think the scene used is fine. I really wish they stuck to the unused one, and it definitely wins over the current thumbnail. Wrapping up the season, we finish off with BFB 30, the finale. We're once again dealing with two unused thumbnails. Out of the three, this one here is the obvious cut. It's just a worse version of the used thumbnail, with a weird zoom in, and a worse background. It's not necessarily bad, but just a downgrade compared to the used one. The real debate is between these two. The unused one is much more visually appealing, but the current thumbnail gives more of a finale feeling. If this were any other episode, I'd go with the profile one. It looks much better than the current thumbnail, and does somewhat fit a finale, but has little to do with the episode. The used one matches a finale way better, which is why I'll go with it. Again, I do think the unused one is a better thumbnail overall, but doesn't fit BFB 30. Moving on to Teapot, we find the first unused thumbnail in the 5th episode. The current thumbnail includes Pen, the fish mech, and the bubbles. Much more relevant than Eggy and Pen, along with the two fish that don't even show up in the episode. On top of that, I prefer the used design more. Pen is cramped into the unused thumbnail, while the used one looks more natural and less forced. The colors work better together too as opposed to the unused one. All in all, the used one definitely wins here. We're getting closer to the end, landing at Teapot 14. The thumbnails are practically the same, just with different approaches. The used one has a more simple style, while the unused one is much more detailed. They're both good at what they do, but I think the winner here is obvious, and that title goes to the unused one. Of course, the used thumbnail is still great. The simplicity of it makes it recognizable and pop out. The unused thumbnail is just better than it in most aspects. The design on the drill is amazing, and the design of the volcano is fantastic. Top that with the shading and poses of the characters, and it does everything right. It's a much more captivating scene too, which easily catches your attention. This thumbnail is definitely the best we've gone over so far, and takes the win. Capping off the series, we have Teapot 19. This episode has two unused thumbnails, each vastly different from the other. The used thumbnail shows two looking drained on a bed, surrounded by glowing arms. It gives a hint at what the episode is about without revealing too much. This is the first unused thumbnail. Lia having two's power reveals a bit too much in my opinion, but it still works well, as a contender to the used one. The second unused thumbnail is much more vague than the other two, showing what looks like contestants hiding from something in the hotel. Out of these three, the worst is definitely this one. The design is alright, but you can barely make out any of the hotel, and it really has little to do with the episode. Between the two left, I'll take the used thumbnail. The unused one has grown on me quite a lot, but like I mentioned, it gives too much information. Even if not for that problem, it would still lose out to the used one design-wise. The shading and glows make it look cinematic, which very much matches the feeling of Teapot 19. One hand being blue is great foreshadowing as well, which you might not notice the first time. The two unused ones are still great, but are just unfortunate to go up against such a good thumbnail. Although I did say that Teapot 19 was the end of the series as far as unused thumbnails go, there are two more season compilations to cover. The first of which is BFDIA Season 2A. The current thumbnail is much more saturated, and has Evil Leafy more visible in the background, while the old one is not saturated, and has Evil Leafy less visible. Finally, the text is also different. I prefer the current thumbnail, as Evil Leafy creates a cool pattern in the background. The thumbnail text also works, and looks better. The other season compilation is Teapot 1 to 15. This has 2 unused thumbnails, with the only difference being the background colors. Blue and red just don't really work well, and full green was the correct choice in my opinion. With the 2 season compilations over, I've covered all there is to. I really enjoyed making this video, so leave a comment if you want to see more BFDI content, and goodbye.